What if Easter wasn't something you experienced and then moved on from, even with gratitude? What if you could actually experience real growth, real peace in your life this week, the way so much changed in 1 week of Christ's life? And what if the missing piece wasn't doing more, but learning how to walk through your life with Him? Welcome to Shine Mommy Shine, the podcast for mothers who love deeply, give generously, and are ready to stop dimming their light. I'm your host, Kirsten Baxter, and this is a space where faith meets real life, where we talk about motherhood, identity, overwhelm, purpose, and the quiet strength it takes to become who God is inviting you to become. Here you'll hear honest stories, practical coaching tools to strengthen your motherhood tool belt, and conversations with inspiring women who are learning to shine, not perfectly, but faithfully. If you've ever felt stretched thin, but still deeply called, you're in the right place. Take a breath and let's shine together. Hi, I'm so glad you're here. Before we dive in, I want you to just take a breath. Really, just pause for a second. Because if you're anything like the women I talk to, you're carrying a lot. Not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually. You love God. You're trying. You're showing up for your family. You're trying to create a peaceful home. You're trying to stay connected through prayer, through scripture study, and through the temple attendance when you can make it. And yet, life still feels heavy. Not because you're doing anything wrong, but because everything feels like it matters. And it does. That's what makes this so hard. You're not overwhelmed because you don't care. You're overwhelmed because you care deeply about your children, about your home, about your relationship with God. And somewhere in all of that, it starts to feel like if I don't hold this together, everything might fall apart. So you keep going. You push your emotions aside. You make the next decision. You take care of the next need, even when part of you feels stretched, tired, unsure. And you don't always feel like you have a space to slow down and process it. And I just want to say this clearly. You are not failing. You're just carrying a lot. Here's something I've come to see more and more. You love Christ. You think about Him. You pray. You want Him in your life. You might even find yourself pleading, please help me with this, or please guide me to know what to do. But then you go right back into your day, making all the decisions, carrying all the responsibility, trying to hold everything together. Like it's all still on you. And it's not that Christ isn't in your life. It's that He's not yet in your whole process. So what if this isn't just something to get through? What if this is actually an invitation? Something my bishop had said recently has stayed with me. He said, a lot can change in a week. He talked about creation, everything God created in just 1 week. But then think about Holy Week. In just 1 week, Christ entered Jerusalem. He taught, healed, cleansed the temple. He gathered with His disciples. He went to Gethsemane. He suffered. He was betrayed, crucified, and then resurrected. A lot can change in a week. So what if a lot could change in your week? Not because you suddenly become perfect or because you need to suffer in your own garden, but because you begin to live your life differently with Christ. You already love Him. This isn't about loving Him more. This is about learning how to live your life with Him. So I want to share 4 practices with you where we can really make this practical, where we can understand how to invite Christ in and what benefits we can expect from Him coming into our life even more. Because I don't want this to just feel like a beautiful idea. I want you to actually experience it. So, practice number 1. The first way you can involve Christ in your process is to let him remind you of who you really are. Because when life feels heavy, we often slip into, I'm not doing enough, or I should be better, or even, why can't I handle this? But Christ doesn't speak to you that way. He reminds you, you are a daughter of God. You're a disciple of Christ. This doesn't mean you're a perfect replica of him. You're an apprentice. You're learning. You're growing and becoming. You're not behind. You're in the middle of becoming. So, practice number 2. The second way is letting Christ help you see clearly. What is yours to carry? What is his to carry? And what can be delegated? Because right now, it probably feels like all of it needs to be yours. But when you bring him in, he helps you to see what actually matters most for you and what can wait and what someone else can help with. You don't have to figure out what to drop. You actually start to see what Christ is already helping you carry. And then number 3, the third way is actually letting Christ into your emotions. Because so many women push their emotions aside. They think, I don't have time for this, or I'll deal with it later, or I just need to keep going because it's way uncomfortable. But what if those emotions aren't interruptions? What if they're invitations? I want you to practice, and instead of avoiding them, try saying, Christ, can you sit with me in this? So you let him hold space and bring peace and help you understand what is underneath. And then practice number 4. The fourth way is letting Christ increase both your capability and your capacity. Because the goal isn't do less so you can survive. The goal is grow into the woman God created you to be. And you don't do that alone. You do that with his strength, his power, and his guidance. This actually matters so much as a mother because it can feel like everything depends on you. But I want you to hear this. You were never meant to be everything your family needs. Let me say that one more time. You were never meant to be everything your family needs. You were actually meant to walk with the one who already is. And as your children see you turn to him, they learn to turn to him too. Easter isn't just about what Christ did for you. It's about what he's offering to do with you right now. And this is something I've seen happen over and over again, especially in weeks like this. Holy Week, Easter, General Conference. You get to have such wonderful memories created, and you feel so close to Christ. You feel inspired. You feel like things are clicking. And then a few days later, real life comes back in. And instead of feeling clear and confident, you start to feel behind, unsure, like you're not quite living what you just felt. You see the woman those messages were inviting you to become, and instead of feeling excited, you start to notice how far away you feel from her. And that's not because you did anything wrong. It's because you were never meant to take those spiritual impressions and figure them out on your own in a day. This is exactly why I created my Mommy Timeout and Blueprint Call. Because what most women need in that moment isn't more inspiration, more notes, and more pressure. What they need is help taking what the Spirit showed them and turning it into something they can actually live. On this call, we sit down together and we look at what stood out to you, what you feel prompted to work on, what's been feeling heavy in your life. And then we create a simple, intentional plan forward. Not a perfect plan, a doable line upon line plan that you walk through with Christ. So instead of leaving this and feeling like, I should be better or I need to do more, you leave feeling clear, supported, and actually able to move forward. If you want this next week to feel different, if you want to take what you've felt and actually build something from it, I would love to walk through that with you. You can book a Mommy Timeout and Blueprint call with me, and we will create that plan together. The link is in my show notes. I just wanted to share finally, Christ didn't come just to save you someday. He came to walk with you today and always. Thank you for joining me on this show. Sending you lots of love and take care. Before you go, thank you for being here, truly. This podcast is created with so much prayer, love, and care, and I'd love to hear how it's landing for you. If this episode spoke to your heart, leaving a quick review on Apple Podcasts is one of the smallest ways to support the show, and I really read every single one. You can also send me what resonated with you or what you're walking through right now at Kirsten@KirstenBaxterCoaching.com. Remember, my name is spelled Kirstin. The link is in the show notes. I genuinely love to hear from you. Well, until next time, keep shining.